Yeah, it was a great summer. It was a really productive one. It was a very different one from last summer. Of course, we added 8 new players, so there was a lot of on the court teaching that had to be done, and familiarity and culture building. The newcomers got a crash course in what the Green Bay way looks like, and so hard to talk about. It's really, you just have to be in it and do it every day. And that was one of the first things. And then, of course, off the court, we tried to spend a lot of time together so we could just get to know each other better and build better relationships and start to create some kind of chemistry because we know how important that piece is. So we spent 8 weeks together, but I think it was really productive, and it went by fast because there was a lot we needed to get in, but it was a good summer.
Kayla, I remember last year, if I remember this wrong, correct me, but when you came in, you wanted to put your own stamp a little bit on the players and their play style, maybe didn't fit that. Now with so much turnover, are there things that you didn't incorporate last year because of the turnover on this team that you can incorporate this year, maybe a little different style basketball that we might see this year?
A little bit. You're right. I think last year when I arrived, it was a little bit of figuring each other out. And I felt like the new guy. I was joining a team with so many returners, and really we only brought in 2 additional players after I got the job. So it was a lot of players who had developed chemistry and were really, really good at what they did. And it was more so me adjusting to them. I was completely fine with that. We just had to find ways to put little tweaks and little twists on what we did, and call it our own rather than just their offense or my offense. It just had to become ours, and we found a way to do that. And I think there are certain pieces now that we're a little bit more new, and that we're adding as we go on. I think that this team right now is really just trying to find its identity and trying to figure out who's going to step up in big moments, and how certain players play with each other or off of each other. That stuff takes a lot of time. And so there's a couple of tweaks, maybe some new things, but I think that now myself and between me and just our staff, that's another conversation that we feel a lot more comfortable with, just teaching the offense and the systems. And I think you'll see pretty similar basketball, maybe a few tweaks here or there, but I would say pretty similar.
How's Jasmine kind of been fitting into the coaching staff?
Jasmine's been fantastic. I mean, talk about no-brainer for us to hire onto our staff. And it's always difficult when you graduate, and then especially when you stay at the same school and join the coaching staff, to transition from I'm no longer a student and I'm no longer a student athlete. I am now in the professional world. And she has handled that transition really, really well. I mean, it's really difficult to create different and new boundaries with people who are just your teammates and friends. And so now you have to be coaching them and offer them advice, and you can't treat certain social situations the same way. It's really difficult for young people to do that, and she's handled it very well. It's because she's such a mature person. I think she's so young and upcoming in her coaching career, and it's really fun to be able to still have her in practice and use her in a lot of different situations. She continues to make our players better just on the court too. So I'm really excited for this year ahead. I think that she is going to continue to represent Green Bay really well, just in a different way this year.
How comfortable are you now? Second year from last year. I mean, obviously you had an amazing year, but just having that year under your belt coming into your second year, how
Yeah,
important of a
that
culture?
makes a big difference. Yeah, it seems just like your first year, there is so much. So much on the court, off the court, in the office, in the community, recruiting. It's just you, and everything's important. It all matters, and it all needs your attention right now. And when you're transitioning your family, I had a newborn when I took the job, on top of all that, and a new house and a new city, and a lot in your personal life that's changed too. It was a very fast year. It was a fantastic year, and I know that there were times where my head was spinning, and the rest of our staff, where we were all just trying to keep up. That's just how it goes your first year. It really takes a lot of time to make it what you want it to be, and really just get yourself established. And I just feel like already this off season, once we got through transfer portal season, became different already. We got to take a step back. I took a breath, I think, for the first time since I had gotten the job, and got a little chance to step back and appreciate the season that we had, and really get more settled in here as a family. And I think the second year, it makes a really big difference. So I'm feeling more established, more comfortable every day.
How do you think Gracie's handled the transition from Wisconsin to Green Bay now?
Gracie's handled the transition really well. I think it's always a question mark when you have new players coming in and when they're in the transfer situation, how fast they're going to transfer into the new role. And some players take some time. And I have them pop into my head right now that it took several weeks in the summer to get certain people comfortable. They didn't want to step on toes. They didn't want to talk over people. That takes some, you got to get comfortable. That takes some time. And Gracie was not one of those people. She stepped in the very first day and looked comfortable. Whether she was or wasn't, she looked it. She felt really comfortable with the system that we are running, with the terminology we're using, with the defensive system. It just looks like she fit from the first day that she walked in here, and she looks like she felt it too.
What was the biggest challenge this offseason? Was it filling the pieces? Was it, making sure everybody's on the same page on the court? What was it for you?
Well, I think they were two different seasons in my mind. I really feel like the postseason, you lose the NCAA tournament game and you're on your way home, and instantly it's like more than half of our team just left. And it starts right now. You don't have time anymore to go take a vacation and regroup and think about the year that you had. I think it was about 4 days after we lost where the transfer portal opened and remained open for 45 days this year. And so we had the opportunity to fill our roster. We had to fill it with transfers. Not that that's always the way that we're planning to do it, but we needed experience and scores to add to our team right away. So that felt like a different season because the month of April was so busy and was just a lot of phone calls and a lot of conversations that had to happen to get the right people here and the right fits. Then we took a little bit of a breather in May, and then the summer felt like a different season. So I think replenishing the roster was a huge challenge. It was one of those situations I don't think is going to happen, hopefully ever again, really. It was fantastic to have so many veteran players, don't get me wrong, but to replace them all was a huge challenge. When you lose 85% of your scoring, 85% of your minutes, that's no small feat. And the rest of the league had to do it too, many of them. But that's it. That was a big challenge. I give our coaching staff a ton of credit. That was a lot of hours that we were logging, potentially as many hours as we were in season, but it was all for a different cause. And it's not, you would rather be on the court logging those hours, but it had to be done. And I think we did it the right way.
Jenna talked about the standard Jenna talked about the standard kind of being the Horizon League title.
Yeah.
And now that the goal is to get to the tournament and make some noise there. Is there anything in particular you can do to bridge that gap and get over the hump to not only get there, but win a game when you do?
Yeah, I love that Jenna said that there is a standard in this program to get there. It's funny because a lot of people ask us, what are your goals? What are your goals? We haven't even talked about it. I don't know that we will. I don't know that this program really has ever sat down and said, here's what we want to accomplish. I think the players that join our program already know that. I think that's a huge reason why they come here. I know it was a big reason why I came here as a player. It matters. The tradition and the winning and the pursuit of excellence every single year, that's why you wear a Green Bay jersey in the first place. And so I don't know that we really have that defined. I also think that goal, not only getting the NCAA tournament, but bridging the gap and winning a game, is incredibly difficult. It is incredibly difficult to do with a really talented veteran team who had a ton of experience playing together like last year. Why? A lot of factors. Your matchup is a huge reason why, right? If it's a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter against an SEC team, that's a great position to be putting yourself in. And yet the difference between the 2-possession game and pulling ahead and taking the lead and holding on to win, there's a big difference there. And so we're going to do everything we can, of course. We would love to get back there. It just feels like it's so far out ahead of us. And you have to see the big vision of that's where the end result is. That's where we want to get to. We have a long way to go in order to get there. And just telling our players that it takes a lot of time. That great things take time. And you're just going to have to pour into this every single day because those types of achievements, those don't just happen. They come months and months ahead of time from workouts just like today where you are pouring into each other.
Talk about the transfer portal and everything, but you guys are one of the few teams that didn't lose anybody.
Right.
Current players.
Yeah.
Some of those players that are coming that necessarily didn't play a lot. Do you see
Yeah.
a couple players like that?
Yeah.
This year?
It's a
maybe like I don't know how far Westeen is from playing, but like something like her for coming off her injury.
Yeah, no, it's a great observation. In the last 2 years, we're one of 5 schools that hasn't lost anybody to the transfer portal. So it's pretty unheard of now that you're not losing players. I mean, winning teams are losing players. Final Four teams are losing players. I think it says a lot about our community. It says a lot about our culture. It says a lot about our coaching staff. I think we're trying to be really intentional with checking in on players and making sure that they're doing well. It says a lot about the players that are here and their families, that they're really bought in. They're not just looking for the next best thing. Not that that's always the reason that you transfer, but it is a likely story sometimes in the portal. So I think that that's the first thing. The 6 players only that we have returning, many of them didn't play. Really, you had Jenna Geyer, of course, played pretty significant minutes, and Maren Westeen played early on before she got injured. And beyond that, there wasn't, besides when a game was already pretty decided, where those players would see the floor. So I think that that says even more about the quality of people that we have who just really believe in what we're doing and they want to be a part of it. And we're excited about where Maren is at right now. She's doing well. I can't give you a timetable at this point, but it's exciting to see where she's at. And I mean, we certainly would love to have her experience back and forth, her athleticism and her ability to handle the ball. I think that that's always an exciting thing to have on the floor and with the team. And of course, Jenna is going to play a much bigger and different role than she has in the past. And she's embracing that. That's not as easy as people think, to go from coming off the bench when the game's already started and you can kind of ease into it and let the game get going to now you're starting the game potentially, and it matters how well you and bring up everybody else. She's got some more responsibility on her shoulders. She also felt that the instant that we lost that game too in the NCAA tournament. I know that, and I know that she carries a lot of that weight, but that's what happens when you move from being a junior to a senior, especially in this program. And then we're excited to see how the rest blend in. You know, it's just fun to see so many different and new pieces. It's fun to see the experience level of those returners help this summer teach the newcomers and bridge that gap. And forgetting all about the playing time and who's starting and just getting 1 through 14 to get on the same page. Those returners are really important in bridging this gap for the Green Bay way to continue from last year into this year.
Have you had a chance to kind of look around the Horizon League and early thoughts on how the league might stack up? I know the games are a whole different beast once you get into
Sure.
play, but just how the Horizon League stacked up, after the transfers and everything.
A little. Have I dug into it? Yes, a little. But I think that there's so many question marks. I think that there are 3-4 teams that really replaced more than half of their rosters, especially the ones that ended up near the top last year. And so you can look at transfers and where they came from and what they averaged, and then you're sort of just guessing as far as how people are going to finish. I think the preseason poll, it always is what it is, but there's so many question marks this year that I don't know how true those thoughts really are. I think it's just kind of a guess on where people are going to finish, which is typically what it should be anyways. So I just think a lot of teams will look different. I think that's what it is. And I think I have so much respect for the coaches in this league who ended up replacing a lot of players too with other really good players. And it's always been a really skilled league. There's several teams that just come out really athletic. And so I think we have a really nice balance there. I just think when the coaches are good in the league, they're going to find a way to be good. No matter what players they picked up or returned or didn't return, they're going to find a way, because I just think that we have really quality coaches in the league.
You add Patrick back to the staff.
Yeah.
What went into that? I mean, he's been around Green Bay basketball before.
Yeah.
What went into that to bring him back here?
Well, I'm pretty fortunate to have the opportunity to hire Patrick and have him be available to hire a second time. The first time around, it wasn't so much I didn't want him on my staff. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but at the time, we had different pieces, and it just felt like that was the right fit. I didn't have a long-standing relationship with Patrick. As the year went on, we sort of reconnected and had a lot of good conversations. And in the spring, when it came time to really fill the spot, truly it just felt like he was the perfect fit. I think it makes a big difference to have somebody who was already here be able to already know this place and be familiar when you come back. And I think Green Bay has always said this about the players they recruit, about the families, about coaching staff, that you want people who want to be here, that we're a unique place and we don't look like everywhere else, but we're really proud of that. And we want people who want to be here and who are proud to stay here. And I think he's one of those people. I think that he paid attention to our season, and we had great conversations afterwards about specifics on the game. So I could tell that he was really passionate about this place. He wanted our team last year to do well despite not being here. And I thought, I'm not going to find anybody who's more committed and more dedicated to this program than somebody who spent a year away, still following us that closely. I'm excited about him. I think his knowledge of the game is really good. I love that he's familiar with what we do. And I think that was a no-brainer hire as well.
why do you think that the community will fall in love with this new team? Obviously, they're so accustomed to, the last 4 years or whatnot, a lot of new faces. Why do you feel like being around this team and recruiting them, that the community will love this team just as much as you guys do?
I love that question. I think the community will fall in love with this team first and foremost because of the people that they are. I think that that's the main thing that we had to find out of the transfer portal. And your vision can get really clouded because you're seeing a lot of scoring happen with this player, or a lot of big stats and dynamic things with this player, and you just stay focused on who fits this place. And I think out of the 6 transfers we found, 5 being from Northeast Wisconsin, we really found people that fit this place. So I think the people that they are, the high character that they are, they're funny, they're fun to be around, they've got a lot of personality, and yet they're really hardworking. And I think that they carry on the Green Bay way, tradition and culture extremely well. And so I think having not only the local players, but also having just great people, great students, and continue that on to have a great team to cheer for, I think that's why you fall in love with them. I think that they might look different. We might look really different from what you've seen in the past, but we're just forging our own identity. That's what happens every single year. I think we have great pieces, and I think it will be fun as you stick with us throughout the year to see these pieces meld together and become one, and hopefully become our best by the end of the season.